A question that a lot of fans are wondering. Is Goku stupid? Absolutely, Goku has been very stupid, and he continues to be stupid. But is this an issue? I don't feel that it is. A lot of times, it's been portrayed that Goku is anything from competent. The only thing that can be said though is he is competent when it comes to fighting, without a doubt. But when people like to define him as stupid, what does that mean? Are they referring to the fact that, he acts like a child because he does whatever he wants? Or are people just looking for an excuse just to hate on Dragon Ball Super in general? Now, my take on this is, and to play devil's advocate, I personally think a lot of people just don't seem to like Dragon Ball Super in general, and they feel that this other issue regarding Goku is another legitimate reason to criticize the series. For me, I've never seen this as a problem in terms of his character because the issue is when you try to compare Dragon Ball Z with Dragon Ball Super, at the end of the day, you will never be satisfied. And why? Because they're two different series. It's like night and day. They might be within the same context of one another, but it's still completely different. So my advice would be to look at Dragon Ball Super as a standalone, as opposed to comparing it to everything else we watch, because that will manipulate your perception of what is acceptable and what is not. So over time, Goku as a child, going all the way back to classic Dragon Ball, showcases the fact that, there's much he doesn't know. If anything, he hardly knows anything other than fighting and eating. And Bulma was his first, I should say, interaction with any other human being, which also correlates to him, finding civilization, interacting with the general public, experiencing the quote normal world that everyone else lives in. The difference with Goku lying and doing whatever he wants, a lot of people seem to disregard the fact that when he does something, it's because he really does not understand. And deep down, it's because he really doesn't believe it's that big of a deal. Because we're looking at his character and using our logic as a human being to define him. However, that should not. It wouldn't work because Goku's just Goku. Even for a Saiyajin, he doesn't even fit the profile because in their universe they were ruthless. If anything, he would have probably have been an outcast because he doesn't fit the norm of being a ruthless Saiyajin. Even Vegeta referenced this many times as to he just could not understand the logic behind somebody that was so powerful, and yet somebody being so powerful had the same qualities of being kind, never using his strength as a means to take advantage of anyone else or to, necessarily brag about it. If anything, Goku, I wouldn't say that he's been cocky at times. He's just very, I would say he's just confident, to say the least, because being arrogant doesn't really seem his style. To me, that's more of a Vegeta thing, which is perfectly fine. That's Vegeta's thing. Um, and to reference the whole arrogance thing when it came to Goku, I feel that a few times in the Dragon Ball series they have portrayed his character incorrectly. For example, if you were to go back and watch Battle of the Gods, when Goku turned Super Saiyan 3, I was very confused as to how, that part of him being arrogant tied into his character. If anything, that seemed completely out of character, if anything. So I don't think the issue with Goku is the fact that he's stupid. I'm referencing all these different things that correlate to him specifically because I wouldn't say it's just being stupid. It's just a lot of inconsistencies to say the least. Because in Dragon Ball Super, when you had the Battle of the Gods arc, they did things quite differently, if anything. I mean, hell, you didn't even have Vegeta dancing in that arc, and Goku wasn't, his cocky self. When he goes Super Saiyan 3, he's just Goku. That's the best way I can explain it. So, one other thing that I found quite interesting was not too long ago, the episode with Android 17 and Goku looking out together on the sunset. Great scene. And it's really rare when Goku actually talks about himself in the manner where he tries to clearly define his character, because that's what he does in that particular scene in that episode. He explains to 17 because, they've officially never had a personal one-on-one relationship until then. He explains to him, like, what he's all about. He doesn't necessarily try or claim to be a hero. He just does not like to see, innocent beings, animals, etc. being hurt, and he just loves to have fun fighting, and he just enjoys himself. And another thing that seems to be brought up a lot is people talk about how he probably wouldn't be able to ride the Nimbus cloud, especially, ever since, he lied about the whole subject of what the tournament would award people who won, and he left out the bit where losing would result in the imminent erase of their universe. But if you go back, Gohan and Goku agreed in an episode where, they thought it would be best to keep it a secret for the time being because they were worried about how people would react, and they felt that it was not the right time to disclose that information. Another scene that I thought was quite interesting regarding his lie, when Gohan and Goku, agreed on the subject of not disclosing that information. Krillin and Bulma especially called him out on it. And, Krillin asked him, why would he lie? Why would he not believe in his friends who have fought by him all this time? And, Goku, he just apologized. He didn't make excuses. That's just how Goku is. He always learns, and he's willing to learn. And he even flat out just apologized. And Krillin said, did you think it's because I would be afraid? And Goku said, well, wouldn't you be? And Krillin admitted, he's like, yep, I would be afraid, and I am afraid, and I won't participate. And they had that little, gag cutscene with Beerus, attempting to, you know, obliterate Krillin to dust. And obviously, that, and to getting off topic, but that's when he started to call Kuririn Turirin, with the T. That's how this whole thing started, as a little side gag. But I just thought that was interesting how they like to plug in these little moments of interactions. And what I really liked is, even after that, he just gets this bright idea that, let's recruit Frieza. And that's just how he is. He seems like just he's very random. He is very stupid, like I said, the way he acts, but that's his, perk. That's just what makes him so great, because it's always like a surprise. You never know what to expect with Goku. And that's why, I to this day I still don't or I'm sorry, I still cannot figure him out cuz he always surprises me. And what I liked is when you know, did instant transmission, and he went away. I thought it was very nice how they showed Piccolo, Gohan, and Buruma, smiling, because a lot of people might not look at that scene and think too much of it because they're just, oh, they're just happy. But to me, their smiling is because they are used to this. They know, how Goku is, and to them this is nothing new. And they're probably thinking in their mind, oh, there he goes, he's going off again. So I thought that was very nice. I really like that scene. So, I'm digressing on, and this is just something that I'm bringing about all these points because I think that people will still consider him to be stupid, but if you go back from Dragon Ball to Dragon Ball Z, these were different times. In Dragon Ball Z, they were never ever, it felt like there just wasn't a period of peace. I mean, sure, they had their moments of relaxation, but was there really peace for a long period of time? I mean, you've had the Saiyan saga, you've had, the Frieza saga or Namek saga, however you want to define it, and then you had the Android saga, and especially that saga with the Jinzo Ningen, that just, it just felt like despair during that time period. And then go figure, that wasn't even the end. You had Cell, you had Boo. So people like to say how he acts very differently. Well, I would think so if you were also in that kind of situation, especially when you're not particularly like, despite how strong Goku was, he still had to, train himself, and he still admitted that he wasn't ready even for Cell. That's why the only way he could beat Cell was, use Gohan to beat him, because he knew already from the beginning that he couldn't beat him. So that's why I don't think that it's necessarily he's more stupid in one series as opposed to another. It's just the inconsistency of, the way people view him, because different situations, different enemies, and his power scaling was way different. I mean, can you imagine if he was like the way he is now in Dragon Ball Z? I don't think they would have had to worry about anything at all. If anything, he probably would have just took all of that as a joke. He wouldn't have even have bothered to train, I would think. I mean, everybody would just be garbage if he had that kind of power and God Key in Dragon Ball Z. So yeah, that's all I have to say. This is a lot longer than I actually anticipated, but I actually, have been enjoying doing these videos, and I'm gaining a few subscribers, and I thank anybody listening to this, and I really appreciate the fact that some people actually listen to all of this, and they think my points, or I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. They think that a lot of the points I make out or things I say have relevance, because regardless of whether you agree with me or not, I just like talking about Dragon Ball. So any opinion, regardless of whatever it is, I don't mind listening to it or reading it, I should say, on the comments. It is what it is. I'm not one of these fans that will flat out disregard something else just because it may not agree to what I consider to be right. So feel free to comment what you think. I made a video like this because I feel that a lot of other videos I've seen, they make good points, but I like to reference each series individually, because that, to me, will clearly show the difference as to why people might assume this way, because the series are inconsistent, to say the least. So yeah, thank you for watching, and with the recent events, with Bulma's voice actress passing away, I was pretty upset, on the last video, so I think I'm speaking a lot better in this video due to the fact that I've had time to kind of cool down, and wherever Hiromisuru is, hopefully she's doing well, and best of her to always.